Okay, year seven. So here's some of the answers to the practice assessment. So hopefully you did well. The first question was a two-step equation. So you had to subtract 3 from both sides, get rid of the 3, and then finish off by dividing by 7. Second question then asked you to sub in -2 and 3 for x and y. So I put it in brackets here. It's a good habit to get into for both, substituting for y and x. And then, well, -2 is just -2. It's multiplied by nothing. 3 times 3 is 9, so that'll be -9 because that was already a -3, and plus 18. Then do that in your calculator or in your head, and you will get the answer 7. This input-output table, so I'm looking for what the jump is in all the outputs, the y's, and I see that it's adding 6 each time. Because adding 6, that means it's going to be a multiple of 6 in the formula. So 6 times x. So 6 times this number. But of course, if I do 6 times 1, I get 6, not 2. If I do 6 times 2, I get 12, not 8. And so I noticed that I would have to subtract 4, and then I get perfectly. So I'll test that. 3 times 6 is 18. Take away 4 is 14. This next question, question 4, calculate the perimeter and area. So for the perimeter, I need to find these extra lengths before I can add them all up. So I did that. I know that this is 4 because this bit is 6, and I know the entire bit is 10. Same for this. This bit is 9. I know this bit already is 2, so there must be 7 left here. And I just add up all those bits on the outside. For the area, I split it into 2. 4 times 9 is 36, and 6 times 2 is 12. Add them together, you get 48. Next question then was the area and circumference. So area is pi times radius squared, and circumference is pi times the diameter. So radius in this case is 5, so 5 times 5 is 25, that's squared. 25 times 3.14, and I get 78.5. So remember, 3.14 is pi. Circumference, then the diameter of that circle is going to be twice this 5, so it's actually 10. So 10 times pi, 314. Next one, describe the signal transformation. So it's either a reflection, translation, rotation, enlargement. In this case, it's just slide down and left. So it's from A to B. So it is down 4 boxes and over 2 to the left. So -2, -4, the vector, or you could just write 2 to the left and 4 down. You see, I did it the other way around the first time by mistake, so I corrected it. To calculate the mean in question 7, add up all these and divide by how many there are. Add it up to 600 and divide it by 21, and then round to 2 decimal places. If it says, if it doesn't say what to round to, just do to 2. Range, largest number, take away smallest number. Mode, the one that's there the most, so 21 was there 3 times, it's there the most. Median, so I listed them from smallest to biggest, and then I started crossing them off either end until I got the middle number, and it was 21. If there was 2 numbers there in the middle, well, I'd have to just get halfway between those 2. Probability, so white marble, well, there was 4 white marbles. How many marbles are in total in the bag? Well, there was 10, so 4 out of 10. I can simplify that to 2/5. Any marble other than white? Well, that means all these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 ones other than white, so it's going to be 6 out of the 10, or 3/5 if you simplify. Picking 3 white marbles in a row if they're not replaced. So chance of getting 1 is 4 out of 10. But then if one of those is gone, there's only 3 left, and there's 9 in total, so 3 out of 9. And then 2 left for the last, and 8 in total. And then you multiply, if you're looking for those combined events, multiply those fractions, which was a tricky question, multiply all the tops. 4 times 3 times 2 is 24, 10 times 9 times 8 gives 720, and then simplify that so you can divide by 12 and then 2, or just divide straight away by 24. Question 9. You need to draw the Cartesian plane if you don't have a Cartesian plane. So create the triangles, that's just these 3 points. Then I need to translate it, -5, so 5 to the left, up 6, and it finishes here at B. Okay, so finished here at B, and then you draw in a line at y equal to 1. So where y is 1 is right here, and then draw a line through that, and then reflect. So B will look at itself in the mirror, must be the same distance, so 2 boxes away here, 2 boxes away there. Question 10 then was a rotations question, so you have to plot this point first, and then trace this shape through some paper. So put the paper up against the screen, or you'd have to draw it, and then put the paper against that, and then put a pen on this point, and then rotate 90 degrees. So quarter turn in this direction, and it should end up here. Solving equations then, question 11. So I need to isolate this x, so I subtract 5 from both sides first to get rid of the 5, because that's already a plus 5. There's no sign, it's plus. And then divide by negative 2, which makes it a negative 7. This one, I have variables on both sides, so I need to get rid of one of them. I usually get rid of the smallest one. So subtract x from both sides, and I'm left with 2x here, minus 5 is equal to minus 2. Got to get rid of the 5 next, so add 5, then divide by 2, and you should get 1.5. Last one, remove brackets first is a good idea, so I've multiplied everything by these two by 7, and these two by 3, and that gets rid of the brackets. Then I get rid of the smaller x, so subtract 6x from both sides, and then I solve like a one-step equation by just adding 7 to both sides. Challenge questions, question 12. Multiply out the brackets first. I combine these two like terms to form negative x. So 2x take away 3x is negative 1x. Then I start to solve. So I've left with this with variables on both sides. I get rid of the smaller variable. So negative 10x is smaller than this. So I add 10x to both sides. And then I get 9x here. Minus 6, 15. So now it's a two-step equation. I got to get x on its own. Add 6 to both sides, and I'm left with 21 is 9x, and then divide by 9. Okay, so on to the last page now of the challenge questions. This one was a bit tricky. I made a mistake myself when I did it. So you had to figure out, first of all, how many areas we would split it up into. I picked 5 areas, 4 rectangles, and 1 triangle here. So I had to find this length of this bit of the triangle, which would be the base, 5 and 6 and 11 and 3, add up to 25. So that's how I got that. And yeah, so then I had to find the area. So it's half, 6 times 8 for this triangle here, and that's area 3. Here's 24. Hopefully the rest of them you recognize, just rectangles, length times width. So you just have to find those. For part C, this is a very famous formula that maybe if you have older brothers and sisters, they recognize. It's the quadratic formula, it's called, but you just need to know how to sub it in, not how to use it. So this is a substitution question. B is negative 2. So minus B would be negative 2, which is actually positive 2, which I have here. The square root of B squared is minus 2 times itself. So minus 2 times itself is minus times minus, which would be positive 4. And then minus 4 is C, so minus 4 times 2 is 8, and then minus 1 times 8 is plus 8. So we get this as our simplification. 2 times 2 in the bottom is 4. And then you can use your calculator to finish this one off. This is a square root symbol, so do everything underneath that. So 4 plus 8 is 12, and press square root 12 on your calculator. If you don't have a square root button, that's fine. The one in the actual exam is not as difficult as this, and doesn't require square roots. And the final one then, find a formula for this. So I know this minus 4 was the jump, so subtraction was the jump. That means I will be subtracting, or negative 4 times S will be in the formula. So I have to figure out what am I subtracting it from. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16. So what am I subtracting from? I'm subtracting it from 20. Okay? And that is the end of the assessment corrections. Okay, hi year 7, so I'm about to go through the answers to the practice semester exam. Remember, the actual assessment is going to be very similar to this. All the same concepts will be asked. So if you're not able to do something, do ask me how to do it in the next maths lesson. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so hopefully that went well for you. The total marks for that exam, I think is 59, very similar in the end of year assessment. Perhaps the challenge questions will be worth slightly less marks and the normal questions will be worth more. So there'll be that one challenge question with a couple of parts at the end that might be a bit tricky, and that'll be aimed at blue level, but everybody should give it a go if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Okay, so best luck with that. Do ask me any questions that you have from the practice assessment.